What's happening, folks? Back with another reaction, back with some more Loreena McKennitt, and I'd like to once again give a shout out to both Michaela and Yvonne, who have provided the raw materials, and in fact Michaela recently sent me a physical copy of the album The Book of Secrets, so not only do we have some live Loreena waiting in the wings, but we have another proper studio album, so I'm very much looking forward to that, but we're still just in the early stages of going through The Mask and the Mirror, or just The Mask and Mirror, only one definite article. And this album has opened with two remarkable tracks with atmosphere and Celtic stylings, so I'm very much hoping that the album continues in that fashion. And indeed, Michaela mentioned that that is the atmosphere and flavor of the record overall, so yes, the next tune is The Dark Night of the Soul, which is another very poetic title. Now, a night could, of course, be more literally taken, or it could be about a phase or a period of time that is represented as one half of a larger cycle, day, night, bright and dark. There are all sorts of dichotomies that are suggested. So again, it could be more literal or more figurative, but generally when you talk about a dark night, you're talking about the absence of light, maybe beyond just in a physical sense. You're talking about a heavy or maybe even evil night, or a night that at the very least will be difficult to endure, that will have to be struggled through to reach the light on the other side of it, to see the horizon with the sun again. So I feel like there's all sorts of metaphors that could be possible here. And if you talk about the soul, whether or not you're speaking in a strictly metaphysical sense, you're talking about someone's essence, their core, their characteristics, their very being. And so the dark night of the soul sounds like a rite of passage for someone, for their emotions, their psycho-emotional state. And it sounds like it could be a journey one has to take, but which will be perilous, and perhaps which on the other side of, they could feel the warmth of light once again. So I'll see what I can catch on a first listen. This is Loreena McKennitt from the album The Mask and Mirror, 1994, and the track is The Dark Night of the Soul.
By a lantern bright, I fled my house while all in quiet rest, shrouded by the night, and by the secret stare I quickly fled. The veil concealed my eyes, while all within lay quiet. join the lover to the beloved one, transforming each of them into the other. Within my pounding heart, which kept itself entirely for him, he fell into his sleep. Beneath the cedars all my love I gave, and by the fortress walls the wind would brush his hair against his brow, and with its smoothest hand caressed my every sense it would allow. One night thou was my guide, one night more loving than the rising sun, one night that joined the lover to the beloved one, transforming each of them into the other. I lost myself to him and laid my face upon my lover's breast, and care and grief grew dear as in the morning's mist became the light. There they deemed amongst the lilies fair, there they deemed amongst the lilies fair, there they deemed amongst the lilies
Wow. Again, it's like with the first track on the album, I don't even know where to start. So, yes, more Celtic stylings, more incredible singing, more atmosphere, more emotion, perhaps slightly less mystical than the first two tracks, but still with a bit of that ethereal flavor. I will say, I wonder if this track, like the previous one, is drawn from some traditional Celtic poetry or something. It feels like some of the lines could very much be in that vein. Of course, it could be just extrapolating from texts or from poems like that. I will say what I caught from the lyrics, it sounds like we are talking about a transition from night to day. It sounds like we are talking about a deep and dark and misty night, but also the flame of someone's heart, the beating of someone's heart, the feeling within her breast, resting her head on her lover's breast, and ultimately I feel like there is not only a man being referenced very specifically, but I don't quite know the state of their connection by the end of this story, though it feels like the entire concept is transitional. Again, going through a night until you see the sunrise again, and perhaps passing through a series of experiences and emotions with this person that she cares so much for, and in whom her love is ensconced or enshrouded, but I don't quite know all the beats along the way. So I don't really know what to make of the story, but I was captivated by it nonetheless. Sonically, I feel like we again hear a number of instruments outside the typical range, meaning not only do I think we have a Scottish fiddle and I think maybe a harp. I even wondered at a moment if there was a sitar because it had a bit of an Eastern sound, just in a couple moments. I think there's also a bouzouki again. I wondered if there was a mandolin. So I feel like there is a breadth of non-standard or more traditional folk-type instruments along the way. But I have to say, the part of the track that struck me the most powerfully is in the latter stages, the last couple minutes. She just begins these melodic vocal lines where I don't think there's actually any words, but just melody being conveyed by her incredible singing. And that really struck me emotionally. So that was perhaps the standout element of this one, her vocals. So just a really remarkable artist that I wish I would have known earlier, but it is lovely to catch up on now. So once again, big thank you to both Yvonne for introducing me and Michaela for sending some physical albums. And again, we have some live Loreena to go through. So yeah, I will say, it feels like the tracks on this album, does it show the track lengths? Yes, they all seem to be pretty lengthy. I mean, they're not, 3.5 minute synth pop single type of tracks. They're more expressive and expansive atmosphere type tracks, which I suppose only 3 tunes in on the album. That is very much the essence of what we're doing here. These are artistic, traditional folk atmosphere type of tunes, but yes, it's really striking me the length and the extension or the expansion that I feel going through these songs. So just a really remarkable tune on already what I can say is a remarkable record. So looking forward to the rest of it. When we come back for the next one, what does it say? I'll look in the folder. It's easier to read. It's, you feel your age when you try to read these things. So the next track on the album, it's not immediately open, so you'll have to bear with me for a moment here. Okay, so the next track on the album is, that's because I was like, it doesn't look like a word that I'm familiar with. Marrakesh Night Market, so I'm not sure Marrakesh, I'm not sure the origin or context of that proper name, but yes, the Marrakesh Night Market. Well, we'll look forward to that one. Let me know what you think of this incredible tune, and Luca, who did seem to stir and rise a bit during the course of the track, but is now slumbering comfortably once again. We will see you next time. Peace.